So one of the misconception about Entra ID is, okay, say it's not a cloud version of Windows Active Directory. Say Entra ID have more capabilities compared to like a traditional Windows Active Directory. It's not only cloud-based Active Directory itself. Okay, so even it can do, we can do more things also in the cloud-based applications. For that also we can do. And Entra ID is extension to our on-premises Active Directory. That means it supports even the hybrid kind of model also. It's not a complete replacement. We are not going to replace or complete migrating our existing Active Directory into cloud. So what we are doing is, so we are just we are will still will have companies will have the on-premises Active Directory, and we are extending that with the Entra ID. Okay, so that's, and we can synchronize also. What we can do with the synchronize is on-premises AD and both we can synchronize. So now here if you go for this, say this is my on-premises environment. In my on-premises, I will have the local Windows Active Directory, and here also we'll have users, and we'll use Kerberos kind of authentications. Here also we'll have some users, user groups, all this, and in Entra ID also both synchronizing like with the Azure kind of services, or for SaaS based apps, cloud based apps. For all that also we can provide authentication, all these details by integrating both of them. So if you see here, this is Entra ID is not the complete replacement, but both are integrated and extending the support, and more use cases we can access. Okay, still for the local kind of thing we can use Windows Server Active Directory, and in the cloud we are going to use like Entra ID, and the single sign-on kind of features. All these also can be implemented. Single sign-on features, all these also can be implemented in this uh, use case. So a user can use Entra ID independently. That means in the directly in the Entra ID itself we can create. Okay, so then larger companies will keep hybrid kind of model, and small companies can use only Entra ID itself as their directory service. Depends upon our requirement. We are going to design, but large scale companies already they have the Active Directory, and we are going to sync all that with the Active Directory. We are going to sync, and with that we are going to provide access. Even say suppose you have any other cloud based softwares, we have Microsoft 365, Salesforce, or OneDrive, Dropbox. For all these apps also we can provide access. Okay, so now here we can use we have Entra ID can control from the Azure wise, we can control Microsoft 365 wise, Intune wise, Microsoft Dynamics wise. In all these also we can use Entra ID itself. It's not only for the Azure. Now, Entra ID they have given as a separate product kind of thing, and from that itself we can control. Even in the Intune also, we are going to control all those authentication, all these details from the Entra ID itself. Okay, so then like here we are going to get like a tenant or directory kind of thing, and in the tenant we are going to create users and groups, which of the services depends upon the licensing. Okay, we are going to manage. A tenant represents organization and the default directory. In that tenant, we have the users and groups. Okay, and Azure wise, so now we'll have a subscription, and we can bind that subscription to the tenant also, and that billing entity. lot of companies in the single company also, there is not mandatory we should have only one subscription. We can have the project wise also, we can have the subscriptions. That is one billing entity to whom we need to send that billing. We need to add a subscription also, and whatever the Azure resources we have used, for that they're going to charge the money for that. So what is the usage we have done, that amount we are going to charge. Okay, so that's as of now what we are trying to do is we are trying to use the free subscription. With the free subscription, what is the advantages? With the free subscription, what is the advantages? They don't charge the money. If it is a pay as you go kind of subscription, like Azure will charge. And even for the students also, they're giving one free subscription kind of thing. Okay, so that's like that billing will go to that subscription, and to the tenant we can add the subscriptions. Then when the user uses that based on that subscription we are going to get the money. Okay, so now here we can add users and groups to multiple subscriptions also. What this will allow is like when the user is added to that subscription, that billing will goes to that. So suppose here if you want to explain this, so now here we have the Entra ID, and Entra ID can be associated with multiple subscriptions also. Entra ID users, and one user can resides in multiple directories also. Means in the multiple tenants also the user can be resides, but which subscription he has used, to that billing is going to happen. Okay, so the billing is going to happen from that subscription which is using. Okay, user can choose from the drop down kind of thing which subscription is getting, and for that he is going to it's going to charge. Okay, yeah. So now here if you go to this, say which like all the subscriptions, all the directories will display, and we can switch also from one subscription to and another subscription, and we can choose the default directory also. Okay, so then we can create a new directory, like in the enter ID we can create a tenant type, organization name, initial domain name. So these all, like we can create a new directory also we are going to create. Okay, then in that directory we are going to create users and groups. Okay, so that means in that directory, all that maybe users we are going to create the user accounts. But in the large scale environment, better to use groups and join the users to those groups. Join the users and to the groups we can join. Then so now here we can use like we have not only from the Azure portal, we have Entra ID. Now Microsoft has given Microsoft Entra Admin Center also. So this also we can log in for Microsoft Entra products, which provides organizations everything we can control from Entra Admin Center also. Uh, like uh, um, uh, from this we can also control all those, and we can sync those also. So suppose if you go to the Entra Admin Center, from this also we can manage the users, all these also we can manage. Okay, so then users we can have, why we need to create the users are, like we can have the cloud identities. Okay, so that's like a cloud identities are nothing but we need to control the resources for Azure wise like this they would be controlled. And directory synchronized identities, that means on premises also will have some thousands or sometimes will have lakhs of users also. Those also have been on premises also we can sync, and those also we can control from the control from the Entra ID itself. But for that we need to synchronize. So we'll set up one local Active Directory, and from that Active Directory we'll create 10 to 20 users and groups. Those all will sync with the those all will sync with the Entra ID also will sync. That there would be Entra ID Connect or Entra ID like a cloud sync we have. So with that we are going to synchronize those. But technically those are resides on the Windows Active Directory. And the guest users also, like we have for the application users, those are the contact workers, vendors, those also they're going to connect. Sometimes mostly they required only one time access or temporary access kind of thing, and once their work is done we are going to remove them. So now we can add those users also from the Entra ID wise. So one method is syncing with on-premises users, or we can create from the Entra ID admin center, or we can create even from the Azure portal, or we can use command line or maybe other third party tools also we may use to sync. Okay, so then one mostly the large scale enterprises in the hybrid environment, what they're using is they're going to synchronize all those so which are there from the from the local directory we'll use. Then what is the local users also will get the single sign-on kind of apps, especially to the cloud-based resources. So that they're going to get that kind of approach we are getting. So that's the reason we need to synchronize. Then from the admin center we can create the new users also. These are for the mostly for the cloud base we are going to use. So now if you go to the admin center, we are creating a new user. Then that user details, all those we need to provide. Say user what is the username, display name, passwords, like all these details we are going to provide, and properties, assignments, all these also we need to give. Okay, and we can invite the users also. Okay, so then email would be sent to that, with that the email user accept that invitation, that also would be created. And even we can use the PowerShell commandlet also. We'll discuss this PowerShell commandlets also, how we can create. Or from the Azure also, we have Azure CLI. This is from the Azure command line. So from this also, we'll create the users, or we can use third party tools like Terraform. Those also we can use to create. Okay, so we need to create the users. Then after that we have the groups. So what is the advantage of the groups is individually managing some hundreds or thousands of users are little challenging to assign the permissions, all those. That is the reason we are going to create the groups, and it's make easy to assign the permissions, all those to the groups. Okay, so then we are going to define the permissions, boundaries, all those, and we can add the users to that groups. And a user can technically resides in the multiple groups. In the large scale enterprise environments, it's little easy to manage groups instead of individually managing the users. Okay, so then here we have two types of groups we have. First one is the security groups. Like we want to give the permissions, what are the boundaries we need to set. For that we are going to give like security groups. And the second one we have is Microsoft 365 groups. There we can give the permissions to the Office 365 kind of apps. We are going to give the permissions. So these type of groups we need to choose. Okay, so now here if I go to the Enter ID Connect, in the groups we need to choose like what are the groups you want to choose and which type of groups, all that we can select. So group type also we need to choose. So group type security we have here. So then that's need to be like a dynamic users we can give depends upon automatically also depends upon that we can bring that instead of assigning manually the users. If that rule met that users like what are the conditions we have given, automatically that would be assigned to that. So instead of adding that dynamically also we can add that users to the group. Okay. Then we can use security groups for the either devices or users. But Microsoft 365 users we can assign only to the user group, not to the devices. Okay, and we can create even dynamic devices also for the security users. For that also we can attach. But we have the different license models for the Entra ID. What are the different licenses we have also? We'll discuss. That means all the features by default we don't get. So we have the different Microsoft Entra ID licenses and Microsoft 365 licenses, Intune licenses. So based on that, the features we are going to get it. And groups also we can create either from the PowerShell or even from the Azure also we can create, or we can create even from the Terraform wise also. Okay, so then we have the different type of roles and mostly which of the permissions we need to give and what are those default permissions also will discuss. So now if I go for the built-in roles, what are the roles we have? So those also we have the what are the roles and permissions we have built in, what are the roles we are getting. So those all will discuss. Okay, so then mostly the contributor kind of role is he can do anything. So it depends upon the permissions while creating uh, uh, like uh, uh, depends upon the permissions what we need to give to those users or groups. We need to create the roles, and the default roles we have is like global administrator kind of thing, which is the high privilege kind of user and can manage anything from the Azure AD wise and Microsoft 365 wise. And for everyone we shouldn't give that kind of permissions. Okay, so it's very security wise, it's very risky, and always Microsoft also specifies provide the least privilege to the users. Unnecessarily don't give more privileges. Okay, so hence for everyone we shouldn't give the global administrator kind of roles. Okay, then we have one more admin type, privilege role administrator. In the privilege administrator, we can activate a roles also. In the Azure AD also we can control. And user administrator, he can control the users and groups. Maybe we have an IAM admins who want to create the users and groups, and they want to reset their passwords. These all can be uh, need to be done by one guy. Then we are going to give the user administrator. And we have help desk administrator, group administrator, license administrator, security administrator. Like this we have the default roles, billing administrator also. So it depends upon that permissions. We need to give the roles for that. Okay, so we need to give the, or we can control these from the JSON wise also. So these all how we can assign the permissions. All this we are attaching to those. Okay, and the scope also we can design. Okay, so which is subscriptions, all these also we can create. And instead of these roles, we can create our own roles also, our own custom roles also. So we can create. So these roles also we can control either from the Entra ID admin center or from Azure portal, and either from the PowerShell or through programmatically, or we can use Terraform kind of tools also. We can create these also. So how to create all these also, we'll discuss. And one more is we are going to use on-premises Windows Server, and we can integrate. We already discuss. So for this, what we required is uh, eh, like previously it's Azure Connect or Azure AD Connect. Now we have Entra Connect we required. Okay, so where we need to install this one is on our local Active Directory we need to install. And with this, like whatever the on-premises we have, the users, devices, all those, we are going to synchronize with the Entra ID. Okay, so then even if any new users have been connected, all those also we can synchronize. Okay, so then like in the uh, whatever the users we have, all those is going to be synchronized from the on-premises to the Azure it is going to synchronize, and even it's going to do the monitoring and federation kind of services. That means we have Entra ID would be locally, but by using those user details, we can connect to the third party applications also, and single sign on kind of access also we can provide. Okay, so that kind of federation services also we can synchronize, and to the Microsoft other SaaS based applications, or Microsoft Windows 365 or Microsoft 365. For all those also we can provide a single sign on kind of thing, and we can provide pass through authentication also. Like this we have lot of benefits. Okay, so with the Entra ID, like if you connect to this both on premises and Microsoft 365, we have a lot of advantages by synchronizing these. Okay, so then we need to install very small download. Okay, so then what is the where we need to install this one?
Local AD.
Yeah, in the local AD we need to install. Uh, from that we can manage. Okay, in the local AD we need to connect, but before that, better to keep all the users and the groups, all those we need to create, and from that we are going to control this. Okay, so then one more like a feature what we need to give to the users is maybe self reset, because each and every time in the large scale environments we have resetting the passwords, all that if admin itself need to do means that will take lot of time, and lot of tickets would be coming. We can give a self-service kind of password reset also. We can use. Otherwise, a lot of employees are waiting, and their productivity also will be, because they will tell to their manager, I forgot my password need to reset. That is the reason we need to decide whether admin itself need to do those kind of password resets, or like user also can reset their password resets. Some companies doesn't give for the employees to reset their passwords, but depends upon our company. We need to decide and evaluate whether we need to set up a self-service password reset or not. Okay, but if I keep that self-service reset password, what is the advantage? Again, they no need to contact unnecessarily for the help desk or support kind of guys to reset the passwords, and the productivity also is going to reduce, because till the time they can't connect to those devices and they can't work also. Okay, that definitely affects our productivity. So then Like here we can say mostly for that kind of requirement, we need to set up self-service password reset also to the users. Then automatically what they can do is they can change their passwords, okay, or they can reset their passwords also. Okay, they can do their forget their passwords or expire also. They will reset their passwords. Okay, so that's we need to set up like a self-service password reset. Okay, so then even we need to set up those settings also in our like in the Microsoft 365. We need email or any of the security question. Based on this, if you enable secure authentications, like it is going to be done. Okay, but this also supports like Microsoft Entra ID licenses are required. So depends on which edition of licenses we have. So based on that itself, we are going to get these options also. Okay, so then depends upon these licenses, we can set up. So here we can deploy like a password those all by Entra Connect and Cloud Sync also, because whatever the reset of the password has been done, it need to be synchronized also back to. Okay, so the what is the situation here is in the first whenever we do the sync, like on-premises users, their passwords, all those have been synchronized to Entra ID. But in this Entra ID self-service password reset, user reset the password. He is a AD user, but that password also need to be returned to. That password need to be returned to on-premises Active Directory also, it need to be written. That's we are calling as password write back. Do you understand the use case? So with the connect kind of option, we synchronize on-premises to cloud we synchronize, but now we reset the password at cloud level. Then what we need to do? Then what we need to do? So that password write back, what it is doing is in the hybrid environment, again that new password reset need to be like whatever the new password has been done, that need to be written onto local Active Directory also. It need to be updated that new password. Okay, so that's required some Entra ID licenses we required P1 and P2 depends upon that it is going to update. Then in order to reset that like a self-service password reset, what is the role we want is like a authentication policy admin, but the global admin will have all this. Okay, so then we need to set up like self-service password reset need to be enabled. So to which of the users we need to give that self-service password reset also, we need to enable. Okay, so then if I enable that property users, like to in this setting we have all, then those users, okay, they're going to log in, and we need to specify the authentication methods also. So how we can authenticate before resetting the password. Okay, so we can authenticate like maybe through the mobile or email. We are going to authenticate. Okay, so then like they can reset their passwords also depends upon the permissions we have given. So we can create so all these options also will verify once we got the account. Okay, so otherwise, instead of Azure account, I'll try for Entra ID admin center itself. I'll try to log in. So from this also we can control all this. Okay, so then on premises, we need to set up one Active Directory, and that's we need to synchronize to we need to synchronize to the Azure AD. So this setting, this lab also will do in the once we got the account. So before that, on premises Active Directory, I'll share videos that on premises how we can set up the AD. All those just go through once. Okay, so we required on premises AD also. Mostly when we are working in the companies, we'll have a hybrid model. Okay, and try to understand Azure AD and Entra ID has been tightly integrated, but Entra ID Admin Center also is a separate product, and Intune is separate product, Azure is separate product, Microsoft 365 and on-premises. Say everything is in the sync, and not only this, there are some thousands of SaaS-based applications also, and for those also we need to provide the support. For those also we need to provide the support for this. Okay. Yeah. Naresh, if possible, you also try to create an account.